guys, in today's video I'm going to be trying out TikTok products so you guys don't have to. Some of these products worked out really well and other ones didn't work out so well, so I really hope that you find this video informative if you're planning to buy any of these, and if not, I just hope that you enjoy it. So first up, we're going to be starting off with the one I was definitely most excited by and the most popular TikTok product at the moment, and this is transforming everyone's room at the moment. It's this gorgeous light projector, and like you can see, it's a very small product. It ended up being the size of my hand, and if you see my hand next to my slime videos, I have small hands, so this isn't like a big product at all. So I was kind of worried on how it would work. I plugged it into my USB port and then I just put it in a dark room, and to my surprise, this covers so much surface area, it's literally crazy. It has a projector in it obviously, and so it creates a much bigger effect than you think, and it also creates a really nice wave effect when you turn that on. The only downfall of this is it has a bit of a noise with the wave effect, but I really like it in slow-mo. It reminds me of like smoke, and you can change the colours, you can layer them on top of each other, and you can also just have the laser alone. So in my opinion, this is such a versatile product. It 100% works and I really recommend it. Next up, we have this plaster mold, and I've seen this all over TikTok recently and it's so sweet. And pretty much what people do is they'll hold hands with a family member or loved one, and then they will like mold their hands and create this plaster sculpture out of it. But obviously, given everything that's happening at the moment, I don't have anyone to do this with, so I decided to do it alone. And the first step is to put this powder in, and this is a very like hard step because it all has to be mixed in, as well as your hand being fully submerged within a minute and a half. So obviously if you're doing this alone, it's going to be a bit of a hassle. I got my mixer in there. I found it came off my mixer really easily, but obviously this might not be the case for everyone. And it was a very hard thing because the color starts changing, so you know it's setting, and I wanted to chuck my hand in really early, and I think this is like the key step if you're trying this alone, because I got this huge coat of plaster on my hand, and this meant that when my hand got to the stage where maybe the thing was drying a bit and my hand wouldn't be able to get in as, I don't know, as easily, as like well sculpted I guess, as it would be able to if I just like left it, it ended up connecting and creating a really nice mold. And then after that, the plaster was really easy. There were no time constraints on this. You poured in all your water. Again, this is meant to be like bit by bit. I didn't do that. They give you the exact amount of water you need. I think I actually had to times this, so they tell you like the smaller portion and then you have to like times it up, so it is a bit complicated if you don't have like a calculator to hand, but at the same time it was a really fun process. And all you have to do is wait, I think 2.5 hours to maximum 3, and then you just have to get it out. And the great thing about this is the thing that you are molding your hand in gives us the really weird liquid, and it does smell kind of funky, but because of the liquid it comes out of the container really easily, so it only took me about a minute to kind of like push this out, where I thought it would take a bit longer. I would say just peeling it off took about 10 to 15 minutes in total. It definitely did take a lot longer than I expected. I was being quite careful with it though, because I wasn't sure how strong the plaster would be, especially as it had just molded like 3 hours ago. I was really worried that some bits might break off, and obviously as it's a hand, you don't want any of that to happen. And there was a lot of bits in between, so the thing that I did next was just go in with these wooden sticks that I was given. And with these, it was really easy to clean up all the bits that you didn't necessarily see. I was just scratching at the edges, and I would say this took about 20 to 40 minutes. There was a lot of stuff still left over in between all the bits, and then after that I made it into my hands properly and I painted my nail polish on it. And low-key, I love that I did this because I don't have any like hand sculptures or anything like that, and I just think this would be a really nice thing to look back on in like 20 years time and be like, that was my hands during the time when I did slime. So I love this. I can't recommend this enough. This is probably my favorite thing in the whole video, and yeah, this is so great. I can't rave about it enough. Next up, we have the one that I was definitely most excited to try, and this is the Backflow Incense Burner. Now this is really cool. It comes with an incense like teardrop shaped, and then the actual burner, which just glistens. It's gorgeous. It has a real like petrol spill look to it in the sun as well. And I decided to do this outside because I did read a lot of the reviews and a lot of them said this smelled bad. So I didn't really want my house smelling like that, and I ended up doing it outside, but I found that the wind just made the smoke not work, and essentially it's meant to fall down like a waterfall, so I did bring it inside. I decided to start with a new one, and I realized that I didn't even show the way this way worked because I didn't film the incense itself, but it has a little hole in the bottom and you match it up with the hole on the actual sculpture, and then the smoke goes through that and it falls like a waterfall, or at least it's meant to. So I don't actually think this product was curved around a lot. Obviously it's a ceramic, so I'm guessing that each one will be different, and I doubt it's made by a mold, but my one definitely didn't have enough curvature because I noticed that at the sides was where all the smoke was being lost, and so it took an absolute age to kind of push it down into the third tray, and then after that it didn't even work. So overall, from my personal experience, I do not think this works, and so I don't recommend it. I don't know if maybe I did it wrong or if it was just the model itself that maybe had a few faults in it, but it just didn't work and it didn't look like the videos I saw. Next up, we have the first product that TikTok ever made me want to buy, and this is the washing machine for beauty blenders. This is so much fun to watch people do. I watch people do this literally all the time. I've always wondered how it works as well, because obviously there's water involved, so it's a really good thing that it doesn't have electrics, it just has batteries in it. And you just have to screw this in. It is quite fiddly because the machine itself is quite small, but after you do this, it works really well, and it's so compact that it works like very nicely amongst all of your things. So I was really excited to try this out, and I decided to give it the hardest test, and this was a dry beauty blender that I haven't used for a year. It's really gross, really messy, has lots of foundation on it, and I decided to put in a tiny bit of water as well as some washing up liquid so it doesn't overflow and it just has a chance to kind of mix in. And the first thing I noticed was that it didn't kind of flip the beauty blender around, so you had to do that manually, and it was only washing the bottom part. So I would definitely say that was a product flaw, but then I noticed that I hadn't filled it up enough, so I was like, maybe I could do it a bit more and it would clean that. And again, I did not find that this was the case, so I manually turned it over and I found that this did really help. You could see all the water was changing color, and then after I picked it up, I noticed there was a lot of water on the bottom, which I guess, I don't know if water reacts with batteries, but if it does, this could kind of be like a safety thing, but it does create a lot of mess. So in my opinion, I was kind of like, at this point, should I just be washing it with my hand? I did see a lot of dirty liquid come off, so I wanted to give it one last chance before evaluating it, and I put some water in to just clear it off like I would normally when cleaning my beauty blenders, and I found that when I stopped it, it really wasn't that clean, and I don't know if it's just because I hadn't like frothed it up in the normal way, so I did that, and I did find that this made a big difference, but it didn't get it as clean as I would get it if I just washed it by hand. The next product is a DIY one, and this was such a fun one for me to do. I've been itching to do this for a while, and I don't know who fully started this, but I remember seeing this on Brittany Xavier's TikTok, and pretty much what happens is you tape it up and then you put a bag in it. And I don't know if this is her method because I know a lot of people have done this after, but that was the first video I saw, so I think she might be the creator. So the first thing I used was some bleach, and I went ahead and I just used my rubber gloves for this, and this was completely blocking all of my hands. Obviously check that your ones will be able to handle bleach, and this was in a very well ventilated area to make sure none of the fumes affected me. I let this sit for about 5 minutes just so the colour would lift to the colour I wanted, but I recommend just taking off slightly before you think you should, because obviously when you're washing it out, with jeans being an absorbent liquid, absorbent texture even, it just kind of takes in a lot more bleach than you think, and it ends up being lighter than you actually want it to be. So even though this was still very light and still had that blue tone to it, I think it would be very easy to just get this way lighter than you expected. And this did look quite cool. I wanted to wash both sides so you could see what it looks like when it's dry, because obviously one side is dry and one side isn't. So I just shoved it in the wash, and when it came out, it ended up looking like this. I really liked it, but the one thing I did notice was that it didn't have that clear-cut line like a lot of people achieved, and I think maybe because I scrunched it up, some of it kind of seeped through. Next up, we have a really cool bath bomb, and this is a rainbow bath bomb that you put into water and then it comes out looking like a rainbow. I bought this from Bella Grace Bath Co, and I bought this a while ago, and I meant to film it a while ago, but I completely forgot about it, and then I saw her video on TikTok and I was like, okay, I have to try it now. And she actually gave me a free one as well, so I got a second try with this, because the first time the water was way too hot so it sank, and then the second time I kept it half above the water and it gave this really cool effect of a rainbow going throughout the bath. And then when it was all mixed up, it looked purple, but this is really cool and I really recommend it. If you watch my Adding Too Much videos, you might recognize the next product, and this is a MacBook mirror. Now, I don't think this is an Apple product. I think it's just like one of those cool ones that people kind of change, and this was very, very good quality in terms of its mirror. I had one of these like 10 years ago. These have been popular for ages, but I love the little details. I think it's really cool. The one thing is it isn't particularly sturdy, so I am a bit worried on how easily this could break. Thank you so much for watching this video, and a special thank you if you made it this far to the very end, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to let me know in the comments as well as subscribe, and I will see you next week with a new upload. Bye!